Hello, I'm Dr. Deirdre. Today I'm conversing with Thyra, a certified independent travel professional who also balances a full-time career and marriage that spans over 30 years. I'm excited to learn the secrets of her success. But first, according to Fact Retriever, travel agents still play a significant role in the travel industry. Despite the rise of online booking platforms, travel agents are responsible for booking 1/3 of the U.S. travel market. Their usage is increasing, especially among millennials who are turning to expert travel advisors more than any other age group. Welcome, Thyra.
Hi, how are you?
Well, and we're happy to have you here. Okay, so what inspired you to become a certified independent travel professional?
So, what really inspired me was I have a couple of friends, and every time I go on social media, they're there, they're just out there having a good time traveling. And I'm like, okay, what are they doing? So, I didn't reach out to them. Actually, they reached out to me and said, I want you to come and look at this business opportunity. And I said, okay. So, I went to the business opportunity meeting and it just blew my mind. The value of travel, the value of this business is just off the chain. So I was like, I sat there and I was like, let me think about it. But Director Denise Russell, she came on and she was talking, and I was like, I don't have to think anymore. I'm all in. I'm all in. So just to see people traveling, enjoying life, it makes me feel good. And to be able to help people, get their travels done in a certain amount of time, it just it's just an awesome feeling.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay, now can you share some of the most memorable trips you've planned for your clients?
I just had a client that went to Punta Cana. She just got back on the 7th. And the accolades that she gave me for booking this trip for her, and just the pictures that she sent me of the beautiful resort that she stayed on. She was just super excited. And I was super excited. We was like, what? What? So it was really exciting to know that she enjoyed her trip. And it was just all because of me.
All right. Okay, now how do you balance the demands of your main job with your travel business? That must be a lot.
So it is time management.
Okay.
I work one of the top 10 hospitals in the world, and it's a children's hospital. I've been there for almost 30 years.
Okay.
And when this opportunity did present itself, I was like, Sam, well, how am I going to do this? But during the time when I decided to do it, I was like, a schedule. So I start doing my schedule. I work from 7 to 3:30. So from 3:30, I come downstairs and I regroup and I become the travel agent and the marketing person that I'm supposed to be. I work like maybe on a part-time basis with my business, and I do it like maybe 3 hours a day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, what are the top destinations that you recommend for the perfect getaway?
Dubai, Punta Cana, and I'll say Cancun.
Okay. All right. Now, where is your favorite destination?
My favorite destination was Cancun.
Okay.
I love Cancun.
Was there one thing specific or a lot of things that you just really enjoyed?
Well, the hospitality is awesome. The rooms are so beautiful. And it's just a nice place to just lay back and relax on the beach. Or either you can just go out into the waters and get a hot rock massage or something like that. So that's one of my favorite places.
All right. Well, I have to put a plug in there because one of my favorite places, I thought I knew my favorite place after traveling to Hawaii and Egypt, all of those places. But I'm telling you, Fiji is the
Yes.
bomb. Rarely do I go places twice, but
Hmm.
I really want to go back to Fiji. And when you talk about hospitality, the people, and I tell this, and I think I said in a previous interview, I remember when we first got to the resort and the lady welcomed us. Well, first she welcomed us with a cocktail or a
Yes.
beverage of your choice. But the second thing she said to me was, welcome home. And she made me
Oh,
feel like
wow.
I was at home. So you can't beat that. So I tell anyone that story just about the beautiful time that I had in Fiji, especially when the people are welcoming. The whole trip seems to go very well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you, have you ever encountered any travel disasters while planning trips and how did you handle them?
So I did. This happened like last year. I had a couple that was going to Punta Cana
Okay.
and they missed their flight.
Oh,
So her husband was very upset. So what I did, she called me and she said, "Hey, we missed our flight. What's next? What do we do next?" So I called the airlines. I talked to the airlines. I got them on another flight. I called the hotel, talked to the hotel and told them they won't be there until the next day. And then I had to call transportation to let them know that they won't be there to the next day. Actually, that was my first hiccup that I ever had. And it was sort of challenging, but it worked.
it
So
sounds like it.
they got there the next day and everything was beautiful for them.
Okay, so we're gonna have another family member join this group. So we're gonna make it a party. So I'm
Okay.
excited to have a new guest, and I'll continue with.
Awesome. That's my best friend.
Okay.
She might not come on because she's hospitalized.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she'll just be there. Hi, Carol. We don't know if you can hear us, but we can hear you. So if you just want to stay in the background, we'll continue the interview. All right, Thyra, you're a wife, a mom, and grandparent. How do you balance it all with planning travel?
I love my grandkids. I love my husband. I my husband, he don't like to travel a lot because he used to be a across the road truck driver.
Oh,
So traveling is not really in his thing right now. So what I do, I tell him, "Hey, we're going here or I'm going there. I just need you to drop me off at the airport. I need you to pick me up from the airport." I also take my grandkids whenever I can. Like in June, we went to Minnesota, and then I took them to the family reunion in July. And so they're like, I'll say airplane Fijis. They love the airplane. They got a chance to go into the cockpit with the pilots and take
oh,
pictures and everything. So to balance all that out, I make sure that home is taken care of first,
yeah.
taking the grandkids if possible, and then just enjoying life.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah,
And shout out to the Rucker family because they do a nice um, family reunion.
it was awesome. It was awesome.
Okay, so you've been in your current role at your company for 30 years. You said it was one of the top 10
Yeah.
hospitals. Okay.
Hmm.
What's the secret to your longevity and success in the workplace? And do you want to share your occupation?
Sure. I'm a lead supervisor in the registration department.
Okay.
And my longevity is I thought that it was just that was life.
Mm,
Work a 9 to 5, come home, be the wife, the grandmother, the mother, or whatever. But by being in this business, I found out that there's more to it.
right.
So with retirement, you'll never get exactly what you're worth. So I decided to take on this second business to sort of get my income together when I do decide to retire, which would be in the next 4 years. So that's exciting, but it's challenging. It's challenging.
To say the least, I'm sure. So, how has your industry changed over the past 3 decades?
So it's changed. We moved from the north side of Chicago to downtown Chicago, where it's just congested. We're around like four different other hospitals. So we sit right in the middle. So I had to get used to that congestion. I had to get used to driving downtown. I'm 60 something, and out of my lifetime, I've been downtown maybe, I'll say 10 times. So, and it's only because of the congestion and all that. So, since we moved downtown and I had to go there every day, it was like, okay, God, what's going to happen now? Parking was very expensive.
Yes.
Recently, the hospital was hacked. So, we all had to go back into the office. And it's a life-changing experience. I've done like maybe 9 different positions in the hospital since I've been there. And this is the longest position I've been in. I've been in this position for maybe 15 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to inject a little humor. So can
Hmm.
you share a funny or memorable story from your career that still makes you laugh?
Oh, yes. I went to work one morning. My lights were out. I went to work one morning. I had on a blue sock and a black sock. And one of my team members said, Thyra, did you get dressed in the dark this morning? And I was like, I did. How did you know that? She said, because one of your socks are blue and one of them are black. I was like, oh my God. So I just took both of them off, put my shoes back on, and made it a day.
Well, it happens. I can deal with the socks mix up, but when you come to work and the zipper's down or you have your shirt inside out, now,
Right.
that can be a little challenging as well. All right.
Exactly.
Funny. Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've received early in your career that still follows you today?
Patience. By me working with families and children, I had to understand the empathy for the patient's parents, the hollering, my child needs this, my child needs that, or I need this, I need that. Um, Empathy was one of the biggest things that I wanted to present because I put myself in that family's place. What if it was me? How would I want to be treated? How would I want someone to take care of my child, answer my questions? So that's it.
I love that. And we need more of that. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. Now, if you could switch a job for a day with anyone in your company, who would it be and why?
Um, it would probably be my manager.
Okay.
She is so outspoken, so outgoing. It seems like the whole hospital goes to her for everything. And the reason why, her knowledge is just off the chain. And if I had all the knowledge that she had, I would love to be in her position for just one day.
I love it. All right. Okay. And what a nice thing to say about your manager. Usually we, hear the opposite of that. So that's nice to
Exactly.
hear. All right.
Hmm.
Okay, Thyra, what's the wildest excuse you've heard from a coworker who's called off of work? You've been in this industry for 30 years. I'm sure you've heard some wild ones.
I really have. So I have a heart for dogs. I love dogs. This employee called in and she said, my dog is sick. I had the empathy. I said, oh my God, we're going to the vet. She's like, yes, I'm about to take him to the vet now. So while I was at lunch, she was downtown shopping. So I said to her, I ran into her in the water tower and I said, where's the dog? Oh, she's at home. I said, was the dog still sick? And she was like, oh, she's fine. She's fine. She threw up a little bit and she's fine. So I said, okay, we'll talk when you come to work tomorrow.
All right. So we'll move past that now. What's your secret weapon to dealing with that co-worker that always seems to bring the drama?
Good question. I try to stay very focused, for one. I listen to the drama and then I ask, is it necessary? Is this something that you really want to discuss with me, or do you just want to hold this in and discuss it with your peers? I have a very knit team. We've been together for like, majority of us, I have two new employees, but the majority of us been together for maybe about 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So they know me well, I know them well. So drama is not really something that we feed into. So when we get new employees in, we also let them know that drama is something that we don't feed into. But sometimes you have those that go beyond and have the drama going. And we just, get together and talk about it. So instead of her saying something, we'll just all get together in a group huddle and we'll talk about it and discuss it and get things working better.
I like that. All right. So I'm going to stop. Precious wants to come in. Okay. Hi, Precious.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. So you're listening in?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So the only thing I ask is that you just put your phone on mute so that we don't get the background noise, but feel free to listen in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Thyra, in your 30-year career, I am sure you have seen and heard a lot of things. What is your opinion on having work wives and work husbands?
I don't get that at all. I mean, that even the phrase work wives and work husbands, I don't get it. Because eventually it's going to turn into something totally different. And why play around with fire if you don't want to get burnt?
Ooh, ain't that the truth? Spoken
Yeah,
like a true wifey of 30 years. All
yeah,
right. So my husband is husband at home, at work, and anywhere else. We don't play those games. All
that's right.
right. What's the secret to maintaining a happy and healthy marriage?
Putting God first.
Mm.
It's just communication is one. That's the big one. Listening is another. Not speaking, how can I say this? Not speaking at each other, but speaking to each other. But my main thing is as long as you have God first, everything else will fall into place.
I love that. Not speaking at each other, but speaking to each other. And that helps in a lot of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, how do you and your spouse support each other's career and personal goals?
Well, he's actually retired now.
Okay.
And when I took on the business of being a travel agent and a network marketer, he was like, "Is this something you really want to do? You work full time already?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really want to give this a try." A matter of fact, maybe about 3 months ago, he says to me, "I really didn't believe that this was going to last. I really didn't believe that you were going to do this. I am so proud of you." And that really touched me because, I mean, he would say something about what I was doing, but it was never like anything negative. He would just throw a couple of nuggets in there. "Well, honey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, okay." But when he said that, it really done something to me. And it let me know that he's watching, that he has my back, so yeah.
All right. I love that. Okay. Now, what is the funniest misunderstanding you two have had in your decades of marriage?
I say no to our daughter, and he says yes. And I say, "Did you tell her yes? Well, what did you say?" I said no. But then he has a rebuttal. "Well, why did you tell her no when I said yes?" So it's like a back and forth. And she would always go to her dad first because she's a daddy's girl.
Mm.
And then she'll come to me last. But then after we look at each other with that eye, like, "What do you think? Do you think she really should do this or she shouldn't?" And, we'll go into our little room and talk about it. And she always wins.
All right. So Precious was playing that good cop, bad cop. Oh, I love it, girl. I love
Exactly.
it.
She's definitely a daddy's girl.
Okay, I can understand that. So after 30 plus years of marriage, have you and your spouse ever had a standoff over the remote control? And if so, who usually wins?
He do all the time. He likes to just stroll,
Okay.
to see what's on. I can throw something on and just sit there and watch it, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I just watch it. But he would get the remote, and I'm like, "Honey, can I see the remote?" "Well, yeah, let me stroll through this first and see what's on or whatever." So he always wins. He always wins. I'd be like, "Okay, go ahead. You on."
That sounds all too familiar, but I love it. I love it. I love it. So how do you and your spouse keep the spark alive?
Oh, we do date night once a week. I finally got him to travel a little bit.
Okay.
So his birthday was July 25th, and he was having a family reunion in Memphis. He didn't want to go. And I was saying to myself, if he tell me no one more time, I'm going to say, "Honey, let's just go out to lunch." And I was going to have his clothes packed in the car, and we were going to keep driving till we got to Memphis. I got him to go to Cancun,
Mhm.
and he was so excited. So I'm like, "Okay, we can do this all the time." "No, no, we have a little dog." somebody had to keep the dog. So that's his excuse. But like I say, date night, just sometimes we just watch TV and cuddle up on the couch, and watch a good movie and talk about the movie or have a glass of wine, or he'll cook dinner. He loves to cook. Or I'll cook dinner. And we just sit up, and just enjoy each other's company.
I love it. All right. Okay, so we're going to get back into the travel. What is the craziest travel request you've ever received from a client, and did you make it happen?
My first question to my client is, do you have a budget? Because I don't want you to think that you can go to Hawaii and stay for 7 days in this beautiful resort and think your trip is only going to cost you like $1,000. So that's just my first question. I put it out there first because if you're going to Hawaii, staying for 7 days, staying at this beautiful resort, you're going to spend some money.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
if you want to do any excursions or any of those things, those are extra. I did have one client that actually thought that. And once I gave her the price, she was like, oh, you're too high. I said, okay, well, you have a great day. And if you find somebody that can fit you into that budget, please give me a call and let me know.
Most definitely. I can attest to that. Now, so Ben, how do you keep cool when a client asks for a steak trip on a bologna budget?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience. I ask, what do you want to do when you're there? How long do you want to stay? Where do you want to stay? Do you want to stay at a resort? Do you want to just stay at a plain hotel? I mean, give me what you want. And then if I can find what you want on your bologna budget, we can work it out, which you might stay in a Motel 6 or something like that. But if you're thinking traveling and then going to these exotic places and doing these exotic things, just remember, before you call, remember, if you have a budget, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
Something that's going to fit your budget.
Most definitely. All right. Now, if you had to choose a travel destination based on your mood right now, where would you go, and would you go alone?
I would actually try to talk my husband into going to Jamaica.
Ah.
So I can go and have a hot rock massage.
Oh, yeah.
And if I have to go alone, I will.
Yeah, well, you don't have to go alone. If you're going to convince him, that would be lovely. But again, going to Jamaica, hey, I would go.
Your gang?
All right,
Okay.
Thyra. So thank you so much. And if those out there, if they're looking to travel, where can they reach you?
So they can actually reach me on my website, which is thyragraves.intellitravel.com, or they can call me at 312-434-7187. I'm always available.
All right. I just want to say thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear about your next destination.
Thank you so much, Deidre.
Remember, self-love is sexy. Be selfish in your love for self and selfless in your love for others. If you enjoyed this video, like it. If you found it useful and want to see more, subscribe. If it pertains to someone you know, share it. And if you have an opinion, leave a comment. A conscious heart will do all four. Thank you.